Hey guys, SGMT. Good news Biotech. So we have a larger float, we have a higher IO, we have positive phase two news. Um, you cannot just look at a pre-market parabolic and short it, right? Because this is one, even in weaker markets, like I said, biotechs are event driven, right? And it just totally depends on what the event is, and if the event is good there'll be a bid for biotechs, man. You could have a weak market and still have a 300% biotech runner, right? Especially when it's not a low float company, it's a larger float, higher IO, positive news, legit analysts covering the stock. So I just read that JP Morgan Securities raised their price target on this. It's not HC Wainwright giving some ridiculous price target on a low float stock. It's real companies in the finance industry. Anyway, kind of got a couple bullish pre-market longs. One is the controlled walkdown, very counterintuitive when you get nothing but lower highs and lower lows into some support level. I was looking at the 1 minute 9 and 1 minute 20, and we'll see a book map read right off the 1 minute 20, which is like this. So I long that. That worked. But I've been in such this like low float mindset that I'm just selling into like high a day or near high a day, right? I'm doing trades like that because in low floats, especially in a weaker market, you have to sell longs into high a day because you often don't get a lot of continuation. Weaker market is when high day clearouts work. Speaking of high day clearouts, we got a market open high day clearout, and at this point, I was only holding on to like 40% of my position, but I was like, you know what? It's a good news biotech play. Let me just ride the rest of it out. And usually when I do this, it never works. Like it just comes back to my average, and I'm like, man, why didn't I actually take some profit? But I was bullish as high to clear out in this pullback, right? Got a nice rotation through the empty space. Um, and I sold into the next uphaul. Whenever I see something uphaul right below high a day, it's usually really strong, especially if it's like a legit company. Like sometimes low floats might uphaul below high day, then fake people out. But overall, given the context of this play, I saw that uphaul at market open. I was like, man, this is probably going to squeeze. We got the next squeeze, and I took some off just because I'm really bad at like knowing how long to hold after up halts, right? It's kind of hard to know if I should just sell right away after the up halt or wait for like 1 minute or 30 seconds or 5 minutes. Like I never know, so I decided just to sell some into the up halt. And then when it started knifing back down below 18, I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to protect my profits, just take the rest off. My long was from down here. I wasn't holding a whole lot. Um, and I got out. And then I tried one of my low float short patterns. We could see the aggressive push past this 15.5 level. And I try to apply as like, man, I'm going to short the moment it breaks. If it goes straight up through, you see how aggressive it is. Like if it goes straight up through 15.5, I'm just going to insta short. Not very big, I wasn't doing my normal low float size, but I was trying to short the low float pattern. And I lacked so much confidence that I covered some into the 1 minute 20, which is right here, and then I got stopped out of the rest. So this video will just be focusing on what a good news biotech book looks like, and this will be um, in the pre-market here, right? So we're gonna analyze kind of this type of bullish behavior, right? Whether it's a controlled walk down or here's high day, high day clear out, so high day break, dump, so it looks like high day clear out, looks like it's going to work, and we'll see all this empty space get pushed right through. And this was a super clean book map, super clean. So let's go to the book. We'll go all the way to the pre-market. Okay. So like I said, good news about Tech. I'm not looking to short this. I am permanent long bias this name. I tried one backside short and it didn't work. Surprise, surprise. But I kind of got baited. But either way, I didn't really lose on it. But the longs, in the pre-market and market open, I'm just like, I'm going to be just Absolutely bullish this name. I don't want to touch this. So here's a controlled walk down, right? And where I longed, what I kind of learned about controlled walk downs, if we go back to the chart, it's very hard to time them, right? It's very easy to see the lower highs and lower lows and try to get in like here, right? Like here or here or here. Like you try to guess the exact lowest low before the possible rotation. And I find that when I do that, A, stocks go a lot lower than I think they're going to go, and B, I don't really get any confirmation that that support level is going to be the support level that holds for the rotation. So, um, what I learned is you wait for the pop, right? Here's the pop, and then you wait for it to retest support, right? You don't want to chase any type of higher high. You want to wait for some. Usually, you want to wait for some type of higher high. In this case, this little tiny push here to get rejected, and then come back to the support level, and you can make a better read, right? So that's why here we could see that scrunched book map. Here's the stock bouncing off of 11.8. Here's like the little rotation that doesn't go anywhere. Then we get a knife. And this is where I went long because I knew there were bids down near 12 and 11.8. They swiped into those bids. And when they popped it back up, I saw them refresh it. And then I thought, in the context of the chart, this was also right where the 1 minute 20 was. So I was like, oh, so they swiped 12. The 1 minute 20 is right here. They're refreshing the bid. So I just went long there, and the trade ended up working out pretty much how I expected it. Um, it never retested the bids and it pushed, right? So here we have the high day clear out, right? So this is the high day clear out. High day clear out, and you can see the instant pullback, right? You get instant confirmation if you're a short seller that the high day clear out is working, right? But again, we see that it creates an empty air pocket up here with really only 13 kind of holding it down. And you could see this is where I re-added my cells from the high day pushes. You could see the bid stacks come in to initiate the high day clear out short trap, right? It's just a short trap. And on things like Good News Biotech, you're going to get short traps even if the stock's up 100%, 200%. Um, as long as it's giving this bullish structure and the bids are there, it doesn't matter what the gapping percentage is. It just doesn't matter. It's the same liquidity patterns that you see. And then I was like, well, I sold some of the strength, and then they did another dump. Like, look, again, quick dump over here. We get a quick dump in the bids. I saw this quick dump. It was another like 3 candle down only dump. And I'm like, that's bullish. I was like, that's still bullish because it's the same concept where it's like, in a low float stock, they can only do this trick so many times, especially if the market gets weaker. You can only do so many pullbacks with so many short trap squeezes before it runs out of liquidity. But on a good news biotech stock, um, what do you call it? I didn't realize market close was right now. There we go. You could just get infinite bids. You could just get infinite bid support, right? And it just keeps pushing. So it's like, okay, I'll just hold this. Then I was like, I'll wait to see if market open squeezes. And then market open had that high day clear out, right? Here's the high day clear out from market open. And it's the same concept, guys. It's high day clear out, 4 straight red candles, and they just absolutely ripped this thing, right? But at this point, my position wasn't large. It was kind of just like a lottery ticket, like, oh, let's see if it goes up type of thing. And yeah, I ended up making, not a lot of size, but I ended up making about 40-50% on the rest of the position, which was great. And then, yeah, so besides that, the only other trade I really tried taking on this was this push, right? We got this lower high right under 15.5. I saw the bounce off the 1 minute 200. I was just, I was out of the trade at this point, and I just see a big green candle. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I see another big green candle. I'm like, oh man, like What if this is some type of like low floaty liquidity swipe pattern? Which, if you remember, Roma did something similar to this, right? Where on one of its days where it just did this up only liquidity move, and then I just saw 15.5. I'm like, I'm just gonna short right into that. That's where these lower highs are. Um, and then yeah, here you could see the 1 minute 20 support right there. So I was like, which was right under 15. So I was like, I'll cover right under 15 into the 1 minute 20, and then if it rotates, I'm just gonna get out because this is a good news biotech type play, right? We could see how well this, like, look, this thing just held up. Like, who knows what people are gonna forget about this play, guys. And it's gonna be 3 weeks later, and this stock could just be hovering at like $30, and nobody would know because they just stopped looking at it because the day trading volume doesn't exist anymore, right? But it could just keep grinding and grinding um, for weeks. It really can. Look at plays like SLNO, right? Look at this thing. Everyone remembers SLNO on this day, right? But look where this is going. It's at $48, and who knows where this is going to stop? It's just going, man. This thing's just going. Remember that? And that one biotech firm bought $15 million worth of shares at like 15, $16 average, right? And they're up, they're up 3x. They're up $30 million. So or 40, whatever. Um, so yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Not much. Oh yeah. Okay. RVS. So RVSM was really the only low floaty stock that I was really looking at. We got the pre-market parabolic. I saw this high volume rotation out of VWAP, but again, this is one of those things where I was like, man, high days all the way at 330. I don't want to be shorting at 275. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, let's see if we get at least some type of follow up to three, up here somewhere, and I just never got it. I did take a short on the bid prop. I missed this short. Um, this is fake VWAP resistance, by the way. This is where you make VWAP seem like it's really strong, then you squeeze the VWAP people. Main things I'll say about RVSN is, in a weak market, a lot of times they can only target one liquidity level. In this case, I think the main liquidity level was the VWAP resistance, right? Because it's such a common kind of manipulation target to like make it seem really heavy and then squeeze them. Um, but I actually shorted this bid prop. I was kind of watching this move out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh man, this is so thin and grindy. I don't want to touch this. But it was after this happened, like this knife and reclaim. I was watching it. This is when I started watching it really closely because I was like, this should go, but they kept flashing like 20k ask at 238 and 240, and I should actually just shorted that. And then I saw the bid prop, right? You could see it was like a 45 minute bid prop. They broke it, and then they had this $2 painted support level, $2, $2, $2, $2. They cracked it, and I full covered on the crack because, I mean, how much farther is it really going to go? And it ended up being mostly the bottom, so that's how I played that. So, yeah, SGMT, good news Biotechs, man. You got to study them. Got to know. I mean, rule of thumb is high IO plus possible good news. It's just, and it's a biotech stock, and it's trading a lot of volume. Just don't short it. They bait people with, these types of stocks always have cheap shares, right? You could get as many shares as you want for no money, and you get baited into the gapping percentage and into the parabolic moves, and it just keeps going up. So just don't short them. Be a long bias, and then learn the long setups, right? Whether it's something in the pre-market or market open or whatever. So, all right, guys, you have a good one. See ya.